The next three videos in the series are going to look at what can make the mind busy, what can make it really active. Because if we're aware of that, then we can do something about it to allow more calm. So this video is specifically going to look at the judgments that we're making throughout the day, throughout our lives. It's been brought to you by Sligo Leader Partnership under the SciCat programme, and my name's John Graham. So the mind is generally working away to try and help us make sense of things. Behind the scenes, it's taken on board all the information that is given to it through the senses and through our thinking and trying to keep you safe and keep you well. And to do this, it has to make judgment calls about everything that it's witnessing. It's trying to decide whether something's good or bad, thinking about past and future, making judgments on whether things are better or worse, right or wrong, positive or negative. We're doing this all the time. It's just that most of us don't pay attention to that fact. And this is talking about any experience that we have. So the feelings that we have, the thoughts that we have, just the way that we experience the world. So when consciously or unconsciously the mind just allows something, so it decides that something feels good or right or better than it was or positive, then there's nothing really needs done because it's already got what it's looking for. And generally, when we've decided that something is enough and we just allow it, the mind's relatively quiet. However, if it decides that something is bad, if it's wrong, if it's worse, if it's negative, etc., then it kicks into action because what it's trying to do is work out, what are the potential repercussions, what needs to be done in order not to experience those thoughts or feelings anymore, and really it decides that there's a problem that needs to be fixed. So it'll start running through different scenarios, it'll start looking at the potential repercussions of those scenarios, it'll start looking at how to try and change those scenarios, fix them, or make sure that they don't happen. Now, for me, an example of this would have been in the past where I would have had trouble with my sleep. If I woke up in the middle of the night, which I often did, first thing would be, oh no, I'm awake, I should be asleep. Okay, and then I'd start thinking about how my tiredness or my thoughts of being tired in the coming days were going to affect me, how that was going to implement the different parts of my day. And then it's trying to work out, okay, well, trying really hard to work out what I needed to do in order to get back to sleep. And my mind was getting really active, trying to think of all the things that I needed to fix. But these were the very things that were keeping me awake. So although I had good intentions, the fact that I was getting active about potential stuff which might never happen and might never come up was actually keeping me awake. So what I'm not saying is ignore every judgment, ignore every thought. No, of course not. Because remember, the mind's just doing its best here to try and help us thrive and survive. But I'm not saying you can't make changes in your life. I'm not saying to try and make things as wonderful as possible and all the aspects that we might have looked at in the second video. But what I am saying is that the more that we can see our thoughts and our feelings for what they are, the more we can make a choice about whether we want to keep engaging with them or not. Okay. So what do we do then if this happens? How do we allow calm when our minds got active? Well, one of the first things would be to actually suspend judgment, so to speak. So by actually noticing that you're engaging in thought, you're engaging in a judgment about things. So for example, for me with my sleep, when I wake up or woke up, my judgment that waking up was a really bad thing. Okay, so just for me to actually notice that I've had that thought, by noticing it and then recognizing it just as a thought, no more, no less than any other thought, then it sort of allows that little bit of calm. It's only when I've decided that I've got a problem does the mind get active. So first things first is just to take a step back and to notice your thoughts. So let's do that for a few minutes now. All I want you to do is get yourself comfortable. And just for a few seconds, you may want to just put attention on your breath. And then just to notice what's popping up in your mind. So just noticing any thoughts that come up without getting engaged in them, just by seeing them. Being cool with the fact that they've arisen within your awareness. Because remember, if we do nothing with a thought, as we did in video 3, it will move itself. So just for the next few seconds, just sit and notice the movement of the mind within your awareness. Just notice how that feels when all you're doing is seeing your thoughts rather than being caught up in your thoughts. Another solution to allowing calm is when you've noticed the judgment, so when you've seen it rather than being caught up in it, rather than judging, good, bad, right, wrong, better, worse, it's just to neutralize it. So what I mean by that is it just is. Okay? It's just a thought. It's just an emotion arising in the moment. Those are neutral experiences. The only thing that makes them good, bad, right, wrong, better, worse are the judgments that we're making. The labels that we stick on our feelings or our judgments about our thoughts. So, see your thoughts for what they are and then to neutralize them. Because once you've neutralized it, again, there's no problem to be fixed. And if there's no problem to be fixed, then once more, the mind has nothing to do. And this isn't about ignoring life. As I say, if you need to make changes in your life, then do so. But this is about trying to create calm in any situation, trying to allow calm, I should say, in any situation. So by neutralizing something that may be causing you pain, by being okay with the fact that it's come up, to see that it is just a thought, or it's just a sensation, or it's just a feeling that you're having, the mind is going to quiet by itself because it has nothing that needs to change.